Here's the real important point here. Where there is eternal existence of transcendental time, which is ever present and without past or future, and hence is not subject to the quality of passing away, even for the space of half a moment. In other words, time does not degrade things and cause death. The spiritual world is the world of the eternal present. Every moment, we're in eternal presence, no past and future. So that's a little description of Goloka Vrindavan, the highest planet in the spiritual world, where everything is a person. There's no inanimate matter, and everything is perfect. So that's the spiritual world. It's very attractive. Now there's one element in the material world which is most important. We just gave a nice description of that planet, Goloka Vrindavan, but there's one important element which we didn't mention yet, which is the most important element. When you go to Grandma's house, what's the most important element at Grandma's house? Grandma. So, in the spiritual world, what's the most important element there? Krishna. Krishna, yes, Krishna. Krishna is the most important element in the spiritual world because he is the source of the spiritual world. He's the supreme personality in the spiritual world. So, who is Krishna? Again, in Brahma Samhita, it's explained that Krishna has no beginning. He's the source of everything and everyone. He's the cause of all causes. And he is Satchidananda Vigraha. He has his form, his eternal form is made of knowledge and bliss. And Krishna is called all attractive. That's what the name Krishna means, I should say. Krishna means all attractive. Why is Krishna all attractive? Well, what things are we attracted to? So Parashara Muni says that there's many things that we're attracted to, but we can categorize them into 6, divisions. So there's 6 categories of qualities that we're all attracted to in other people or whatever. Those are beauty, strength or power, wisdom, wealth, fame or reputation, and renunciation. Renunciation means, the person's detached, they're pretty laid back, chilled out, So when we find a person who has these opulences of beauty, strength, wisdom, wealth, fame, and renunciation, we become very attracted to them. Well, Krishna is the source of all those opulences, and he has all those opulences in unlimited and ever-increasing degree. So God must be all attractive. If God is not all attractive, how can he be called God? If you're more wealthy, or you're more intelligent, or you're more powerful, or you're more renounced, or you're more famous, or you're more wealthy, or whatever, then that means God has a competitor? So Krishna means that personality, which has no competitor in the field of having all these opulences. So Krishna means the all-attractive Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore we call God Krishna. Krishna is the person who presides over that supreme planet, Goloka Vrindavan. So unfortunately, many people deny Krishna's personality. Many persons don't accept the personal nature of God. So in Bhagavad Gita, which is Krishna's spoken word to the warrior Arjuna on the battlefield, in the 7th chapter, 24th verse, Krishna says, Avyaktam vyaktim apanam manyante mam abudhaya param bhavam ajananto mamavayam anuttamam. Unintelligent men who do not know me perfectly think that I, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, was impersonal before and have now assumed this personality. Due to their small knowledge, they do not know my higher nature, which is imperishable and supreme. So here Krishna is saying, don't think that above my personal form there is an impersonality. Rather, from the person comes everything that's impersonal, not the other way around. We are all persons, but we have impersonal energies that emanate from us. Some of us can sing, some of us can play musical instruments, some of us can be creative with art or architecture or something. We all have different energies, physical energies, mental energies, intellectual energies, emotional energies, creative energies. So, do the energies emanate from the person, or does the person emanate from the energies? The energies emanate from the person. Just like the energy of the sunshine emanates from the sun, not the other way around. So Krishna says, please understand that my original form is as a person, not that I was impersonal before and have now assumed this personality. So this Goloka Vrindavan, this beautiful spiritual planet which we were just describing, is Krishna's playground. And we're being invited to go there and eternally play with him in full bliss. Everybody likes to play. Everybody complains when it's time to go to school, time to go to work, time to do some housework. But when it's time to play, no problem. Well, guess what? In Krishna's world, there's no activity except playing. That's all that goes on. So Krishna's inviting us to come live in that world where we can just enjoy eternally. But we can't go there. You know why? How do you get admittance, for example, into some private property? You know, you're going down the road and you see this big, beautiful private property, and it has a swimming pool and a tennis court and some nice bikes that you could ride and some nice horses that you could ride and a big, beautiful house that you could go in and watch movies on their big theater screen and nice food to eat. How do you get admittance into that private property? What do you think, Bala?
You ask the owner?
Exactly! You have to simply get permission of the owner. If you don't get permission of the owner and you try to enter, they might call the police or something. To enter a country, you need a visa. You have to get permission from the government. Similarly, the spiritual world is actually the place that we're looking for. How many people here are not looking for happiness? How many people here do not wish that they could live a life of immortality? Maybe not in this present body, but at least in some form. Immortality. How many people here want to be ignorant? No. We all want to be fully blissful. We all want to be completely free of all ignorance and fully knowledgeable. And we all want to be immortal. To do that, all we have to do is go to Krishna's abode, Goloka Vrindavan, and we can enjoy like anything. But there's only one tiny caveat about our going there, and that is we need permission of Krishna. Yeah, because it's Krishna's playground. So when he opens the gate and lets us come in, we're in. So the question then is, what is our problem? Our problem is we want the kingdom of God. We just gave a beautiful description of life in the spiritual world. Who is not attracted to living there? Okay, you have your choice. This is a multiple choice question. Would you like to A, live in Goloka Vrindavan, where life is eternal, full of bliss, free of all anxieties? You never have to go to school. You don't have to pay taxes. You don't have to go to work. You don't take birth. You don't grow old. You don't suffer from disease. You don't die. And your only activity is being happy, happy, happy. Okay, that's choice number A. Choice number B is you can live in Omaha, Nebraska, where you have to take birth, you have to suffer from disease, you have to grow old, you have to die, you have to pay taxes, you have to go to school, you have to go to work, you have to have stress and anxiety. It's too hot in the summer, it's too cold in the winter. You don't have any time to play, and then when you finally do retire, your body doesn't allow you to play. Okay, so this is a multiple choice exam. Which one would you rather live in? A, Goloka Vrindavan, or B, the material world? How many people vote for B, the material world? Okay, how many people vote for A, Goloka Vrindavan? Yeah. So what's the problem? The problem is we want the kingdom of God without God. We want to go to Grandma's house and enjoy her homemade meals, her beautiful flower garden, her big wide screen television to watch movies on, her swimming pool, her beautiful birds in the backyard. We want to enjoy Grandma's house, but we don't care for Grandma. Just knock her out of the picture. So this is our problem. We want to enjoy the kingdom of God without God. But guess what? Grandma's house is not enjoyable without Grandma. Similarly, it's not possible to enjoy the kingdom of God without God. Krishna came. We'll take your question at the end, okay, Bala? Krishna came to this planet Earth 5,000 years ago. And why did he come? He wanted to show us what the spiritual world is like. Because how are we going to be attracted to go to his Goloka Vrindavan planet unless we hear about it and see pictures of it and what have you? So Krishna came on a road show. He came to planet Earth and he showed us his beautiful entourage and his beautiful paraphernalia and his beautiful activities. And he did this in Vrindavan, India. So if you ever had a chance to visit Vrindavan, India, that is the place where Krishna played his childhood pastimes. So there in Vrindavan, Krishna had his brothers, and he had his parents, and he had his so many, many, many friends, and his so many, many, many girlfriends. And they were all loving Krishna like anything. Everybody was so madly in love with Krishna. They couldn't take their eyes off of Krishna, and they knew nothing but Krishna. Vrindavan was very beautiful. Birds chirping all the time, the trees producing beautiful aromatic flowers all the time, the rivers flowing with beautiful nectarian water, the peacocks making their beautiful sounds, it's the cows giving unlimited amounts of milk. So everybody was enjoying like anything, madly in love with Krishna. Then one day, a personality arrived in Vrindavan. His name, Akrura. And he came on a chariot drawn by horses. Everybody was quite curious when he entered Vrindavan. Who is this personality? Akrura drove his chariot right up to the house where Krishna and his brother Balaram were living. And he invited them to get on his chariot. So they got on his chariot. And then he said, "My dear residents of Vrindavan, I have been sent by King Kamsa." Kamsa was a big demoniac king who always wished that Krishna could be killed. And he sent many, many, many agents of his to try to kill Krishna. What a preposterous proposal, because Krishna is eternal, he can't be killed. But Kamsa really wanted him killed. So Kamsa sent Akrura to Vrindavan to fetch both Krishna and Balaram. And he was to ride on that chariot. He was supposed to drive that chariot from Vrindavan to Mathura, where Kamsa was convinced that he would have them killed. So Akrura arrived in Vrindavan. Krishna and Balaram got on his chariot, and he announced to the residents of Vrindavan, "Bye-bye, I'm taking Krishna and Balaram to Mathura." And they were like, "What? What do you mean? What are you talking about? I'm taking Krishna and Balaram to Mathura." The residents of Vrindavan were flabbergasted. "What do you mean you're taking Krishna? You can't take Krishna and Balaram out of Vrindavan. They're our life and soul." And they practically were fighting with Akrura. The gopi girls stood in front of the chariot and said, "You can't drive this chariot. If you want to drive this chariot, you're going to have to run us over." Somehow or other, Akrura managed to steer around them, and he departed. All the residents of Vrindavan saw the chariot going down the road toward Mathura, and they just ran after it as fast as they could, but of course they couldn't catch up. This chariot was being driven by horses, pulled by horses. And then they just sat and watched the chariot disappear onto the horizon, and after some more minutes, even the dust disappeared, and there was nothing left to be seen. And when Krishna left Vrindavan like that, all the residents of Vrindavan practically lost their life. The rivers were still there, the trees were still there, the cows were still there, everything was still there. But the residents of Vrindavan felt as though their entire life had been sucked out of their bodies. And it's actually explained that while they were waiting and waiting and waiting for Krishna to return, the residents of Vrindavan were no better than statues. They couldn't even eat. They couldn't even speak. So they experienced the kingdom of God without God, and there was no enjoyment. So that is the point. The kingdom of God cannot be had without God. So, the Krishna consciousness movement is meant to invite people to the kingdom of God by teaching them how to get permission from the Supreme Personality, Krishna, because that's his abode. So Bhagavad Gita, and Srimad Bhagavatam, these two texts give us much opportunity to know all about Krishna. And beyond knowing about Krishna, they give us the further opportunity to know Krishna. Bala, do you know who Barack Obama is?
He's the President of the United States.
Yeah, very good. So you know some things about him, right? You might be able to write a couple of sentences or a paragraph about him. Now my question is, do you know Barack Obama? Do you personally know him? No, you've never met him. So it's one thing to know about somebody, but it's a totally different thing to actually know them, isn't it? So Bhagavad Gita is that text through which we can know about Krishna. And why do we want to know about Krishna? So we can become attracted to him. And the more we become attracted to him, the more we're going to want to know, well, how can I know him? Not just know about him. So there in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna discloses the secret on how we can know him. And when we know him, it means to love him. So in the 11th chapter, 54th verse, Krishna says, Bhaktya tvananyaya shakya aham evam vidorjuna gyaptum drashtum cha tattvena praveshtum cha parantapa. He tells Arjuna, only by undivided devotional service can I be actually understood as I am, standing before you. And thus I can be seen directly. Only in this way can you enter into the mysteries of my understanding. And then in the 18th chapter, one of his concluding remarks in Bhagavad Gita, he practically says the same thing. Bhaktyamam abhijanati yavanyash chashmi tatvataha tattomam tatvato gyatva vishate tad anantaram. One can understand me as I am, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, only by devotional service. And when one is in full consciousness of me through such devotion, what does Krishna say will happen? That as soon as you actually know me, when you're in full consciousness of me, by practicing devotional service, you can enter into the kingdom of God. We can only know Krishna through loving devotional service. If you meet a stranger somewhere, how will you ever know them? If you approach them with anger, how do you think they're going to reciprocate? If you approach them with some kind of hatred, how do you think they're going to reciprocate? If you just approach them and treat them like a stone, you just walk by, you don't even look at them, you just walk right by, how do you think they're going to reciprocate? But if you approach somebody with love, how do you think they're going to reciprocate? With love. Krishna says, Ye yata mam prapadyante tam stataiva bhajamyaham. As somebody approaches me, I reciprocate accordingly. So those who want to deny my personality, they just treat me like I don't exist, that's how I reciprocate. I don't give them any realization about God. Those who try to compete with me, or they want to enjoy whatever facilities I've given to them, but they don't want me, that's how I reciprocate. I simply give them some facilities to enjoy in the material world. But those who actually approach me with love and devotion, I reciprocate accordingly. I also give them realization of my most intimate, confidential self. I allow them into my inner circle of friends so that they can then come to my abode and live very blissfully with me eternally. So, in this age, knowing Krishna has become very easy. It's a very difficult thing, and only a rare soul can actually know Krishna. But in this age, we've been given a very special gift. Two things that we've been given. One is this wonderful book called Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the beautiful descriptions of Krishna, his activities, his personality, so that we can hear about him. The Srimad Bhagavatam is 18 thick volumes. If you buy the set, it'll take about this much room on your bookshelf. In the preface to the Srimad Bhagavatam, our spiritual master, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, made the following statement. 30 years ago, I was given the first volume of the Srimad Bhagavatam. I had no idea really what it was. I couldn't even pronounce the title. But the book looked so attractive. So like any book, I decided to start with the first page. So I started with the preface. And in that preface, I found one very astonishing statement. Srila Prabhupada said, this Srimad Bhagavatam is such powerful reading material that simply by giving this book an attentive reading, one will know God perfectly well. So much so that one will be able to protect oneself from the onslaught of atheists, and over and above that, one will be able to convince others to accept God as a concrete principle. When I read that, I said, I have to get the whole set. I only had the first volume, and I understood it was like this long, like an encyclopedia. Srila Prabhupada said, simply by giving this book an attentive reading, one will know God perfectly well. I thought, wow, what kind of proposal this is. I can't let this one go by. So this is our special benediction in this age of Kali Yuga, this age of degradation, quarrel, hypocrisy, the dark age that we're in right now. There's a ray of light which is shining into this dark age. And what is that light? It is the light that comes from this book, Srimad Bhagavatam, also known as the Bhagavat Purana. And the second benediction in this age is that not only can we hear about Krishna through the Srimad Bhagavatam, but we can directly connect with Krishna. The Srimad Bhagavatam says this at the end of the Bhagavatam. This is a nice verse. It goes like this. Krishna Varnam Tvishak Krishna Sankopangashta Parshadam Yagyai Sankirtana Prayar Yajanti Sumedasaha. That in this dark age of Kali, people who are endowed with sufficient intelligence. How many people here consider themselves endowed with sufficient intelligence? Yeah, only Bala. Really? The rest of you don't feel you have very good intelligence? Okay, we'll ask the question one more time. How many people here feel they're endowed with sufficient intelligence? Yes, all the hands should go up. Well, I'm disappointed lots of people here don't feel they have sufficient intelligence. Well, maybe that's your humble position, but you do have sufficient intelligence. By taking a civilized human birth means you have sufficient intelligence. And what are you supposed to do with that sufficient intelligence? Are you supposed to use it to get 3 PhDs? No. God forbid. Here, Srimad Bhagavatam says, in this dark age of Kali, those who have sufficient intelligence will do this. This is how you prove that you have sufficient intelligence. What will you do? You will worship the Lord by the performance of what's called Sankirtan Yajna. Sankirtan Yajna means the congregational chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Krishna himself, coming in the form of a devotee of Krishna, appeared just 500 years ago in West Bengal. And his mission was to propagate this very, very wonderful opportunity of Harinam Sankirtan. Hari means the Lord. Nam means name. Sankirtan means congregational chanting. Harinam Sankirtan means the congregational chanting of the holy name of God. So he propagated the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra, which we were chanting at the beginning before we started speaking. And maybe we'll do 5-10 minutes as we finish here, after questions. So in this Kali Yuga, it's explained that simply by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, one can also know God perfectly well. Why? What happens when you call somebody's name? They come running. If I call somebody from the back of the room, right? Hey, Om! Om will come running up here. But there's also a quality to that chanting. So we want to call Krishna's name, because when you call a person, they come, and then you can relate with them and get to know them. But there's a quality to the chanting. Those of you who are parents, especially mothers, you know this. When the young child say mom is in the kitchen cooking, and just right there on the other side, the other room, the child is there playing with the toys. And the mother hears the child say, "Mommy, Mommy." She's probably going to say, "I'm busy cooking. Could you just wait? I'll talk to you later." Or if the child calls in a very demanding way, "Mommy, Mommy." Oh, you've done that, huh? No, you don't do that. Again, the mother will say, "Could you be quiet? I'm cooking. I can't be disturbed. I'm right in the middle of frying something. Just hold on, be patient." But when the child actually calls with feeling, because they desperately need their mother, the child is helpless, maybe they got injured, something, but they actually call their mother in that mood that they really want their mother. Not because they just want to exploit their mother. "Hey, Mom, come here, I want somebody to play with. Mom, come here." But when they really need their mother, "Mommy!" Right? What happens? What does the mother do? "Okay, moms, come on, moms, wake up." What does mom do? She drops whatever she is doing, even if she's boiling milk on the stove, she might not even turn it off. She literally drops everything she's doing and she comes running at the speed of light to where the child is. It's true. The quality of the calling of the name will affect the reciprocation that we receive. So I'll end with one verse that is also found in the Srimad Bhagavatam. This is by one very wonderful pious queen named Kunti Devi, the mother of Arjuna, the warrior in Bhagavad Gita. She says this, "Janmaishvarya Shutta Shribir, Edamana Madapuman, Naivarhatya Vidaptum Vai, Tvam Akinchana Gocharam." She says, "Oh my Lord, Krishna, you can be easily approached." You know, some people are very difficult to approach. You know, try approaching the President of the United States. Forget it. You know, he's got a zillion bodyguards around him. Try approaching some big famous star or the wealthiest person on the planet. Good luck. You're not even going to get close. Krishna's not like that. Kunti says, "Krishna, you are easily approached." But, here's the caveat. You are very easily approached, but only by the following persons. You can only be easily approached by those people who are not proud of their respectable birth, their great opulence, their high education, or their personal beauty or strength. Krishna cannot be, his name cannot be chanted with feeling by those who are proud or who are trying to acquire increasing amounts of wealth, beauty, strength, high education, respectable birth, etc. So the Krishna consciousness movement is trying to teach people that Krishna should be the object of our love. Unless and until Krishna is the object of our love, we will not find the happiness and satisfaction that we're looking for. And without making Krishna the object of our love, then we will be guilty of simply wanting the kingdom of God without God. So the Krishna consciousness movement, through the chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, and the reading of Srimad Bhagavatam, which will teach us how to chant more nicely. The Krishna consciousness movement, by giving us the opportunity to chant Hare Krishna and study Srimad Bhagavatam, is giving us the opportunity to actually know Krishna on the level of intimate love. And who could ask for a better gift than that? So in 1 month, we will be celebrating on Saturday, September 5th, which happens to be the Labor Day weekend, so you all have extra time on your hands. School and work will be out for the holidays. Saturday, September 5th is Krishna Janmashtami. It's the celebration of the anniversary of Krishna appearing on this planet. And the reason he appeared on this planet, as we already mentioned, was to simply attract our attention to him, to make us interested in coming home back to Godhead. In order to prepare, we have 1 month. We invite you to please try every day to take 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever you can afford, and please chant the Hare Krishna mantra. We have some japa beads available. If anybody wants japa beads in the back of the room, you can take home a pair of japa beads, 108 beads, where you can count how many times you chant the Maha Mantra. It's a nice meditation. And Srimad Bhagavatam. We have literature here. We have the first volume of the Srimad Bhagavatam, I believe, back there. Yes? Yeah. The first volume of the Srimad Bhagavatam. And if you're interested in getting the whole set, you can speak with the devotees who are running the book table. We very much request that you do yourself a very big favor and take these 2 benedictions home, the study of Srimad Bhagavatam and the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra, and see if you don't find a great elevation in consciousness culminating in real loving devotional feelings for Krishna, because we want you to know Krishna in person. So we'll stop there, see if anybody has any questions or comments.
Hello. Lately I was reading about the illusion and reality, which is like big topic. Like I already spent like 30 hours of reading all this and trying to connect with the Krishna, what he says about the illusion or say Maya. First of all, I'd like to ask the question, are we real?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So, are we real? Are we really existing here? Or the time, say today is 7:30, and say August, today is 7th or 6th? Okay, August.
He's really in a
So, at this moment, are we really there, like considering the whole universe?
Okay.
Or this time is already happened?
Okay.
And we are just kind of sitting in the kind of a celluloid tape, and it's kind of repeating the things, and we are experiencing that consciousness here. Whatever we are doing right now is already over.
Mm-hmm. So, the Vedic literatures describe illusion or Maya. So we have to understand the definition, because it's no use speaking if we aren't on the same page as with the definition. So what does illusion mean? The impersonalists say that illusion means that something is not real and it doesn't exist. The Vaishnava teachings say illusion means that something exists, but it's not real. For example, your friend is sleeping and they start having a nightmare, and your friend is thrashing on the ground, "The tiger is eating me, the tiger is eating me, oh no," and they're sweating and they're crying and they're like this, and you wake up your friend because they're suffering, they're crying and they're sweating and they're shaking. So you wake up your friend, "Wake up, what's wrong?" And they say, "Phew, I had a nightmare that a tiger was eating me." Is that dream real, or is it an illusion? Is it real or is it an illusion?
It's an illusion.
It's an illusion. What does that mean? It's an illusion, but it's also real. If he wasn't dreaming that a tiger was eating him, then why was he sweating and screaming and shaking? The dream actually happened. But it's temporary, therefore it's called false. Therefore it's called illusion. The only actually real thing, true thing, is that which is eternal. That which is temporary and always changing is considered false or illusory. The only real thing is that which is eternal. So it's real in the sense that it happened, but it's not real in the sense that it's false, it's temporary. So our existence here in these material bodies is considered false or illusory because it's temporary. In fact, the body that you had when you asked your question is different than the body that you have while you're listening to the answer. Because at every moment, the atoms are changing. Molecules are moving and things are changing and cells are dying and new cells are... Your body is never the same body.
I agree.
So this world is illusion because it's false. But it does exist. So it's not that it doesn't exist. So the real falsity is that we identify with this body. I think this is me. So if you insult this body, I get offended. I think this is me. So when old age and disease and death comes, I freak out because I think I'm going to die. I don't die. I'm an eternal soul. So while we're here, we have to get out of the illusion. And the only way you can get out of the illusion is to join the real world. It's like you're watching television. Oh, channel 2 is pretty boring. Let me switch to channel 4. Oh, that's pretty boring. Let me switch to channel 9. Well, you've got like hundreds of channels you can surf through. So the purpose is not just to keep moving from one channel to another channel to another channel to another channel. The purpose is to shut off the TV and get to your real life. So the solution to our problem is not simply to die, because then you have to take birth again. According to your karma, you have to take birth again in another illusory body that you falsely identify with. So the only solution to the illusion is to join the real world. When you're sleeping at night and you're in that illusory world called the dream world, what snaps you out of it? What snaps you out of your dream world into your waking world? When the alarm clock goes off, right? Ta-da-da-da-da-ding! Wake up out of your illusion. Similarly, there is a transcendental alarm clock which wakes us out of this illusion and wakes us up into our real life. That alarm clock or transcendental sound vibration is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The more we chant that transcendental sound vibration, that transcendental alarm clock will wake us out of our illusion and put us in our real
Thank you for your explanation. Thanks.
Thank you for your question. Any other questions or comments? Okay, Bala has a question or comment.
What actually happens is when you were saying
But if you can speak in the microphone.
when you
No, just hold it like this, Bala. Just hold it like this.
too loud.
You can just hold it far away like this.
Far away.
Far away.
Oh yeah, now it's not so loud.
Okay, what's your question?
Sometimes at the playground when there's nobody there, I get really bored. There's nobody to play with,
Mm-hmm.
nobody to talk with, and then it's just really boring. I felt like I'm better at home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah, so you
So
have...
same thing with Krishna. If you just have Krishna's playground, it's just no use. It's just really boring. But if you have
Exactly.
Krishna and even his playground, then it's really nice to get involved and do a lot of stuff.
Thank you for sharing your very good realization. We cannot enjoy the kingdom of God without God. We cannot enjoy Krishna's playground without Krishna. Thank you for your realization. Anything else? He's a good student, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yes, he is. Anything else? Otherwise, we're going to assume that you are all thoroughly convinced. So please take home a copy of Srimad Bhagavatam before you leave here this evening. Please take home a set of chanting beads so you can chant the Hare Krishna mantra every day. And we'll be very happy to see you do that. So the next part of the program then is?
Chanting.
Okay, we'll have a 5-minute kirtan because we're going to get ready to serve prasadam. So they're going to be setting up the plates and the spoons and everything back there, and a few of the families cooked some nice preparations. So while they're just spending 5 minutes to get that all ready, we'll please invite you to please participate in the chanting of Hare Krishna. We're not sitting up here to chant to entertain you. It's call and response. So the leader will chant, and then we're all supposed to respond back and forth, back and forth. So please give us 5 minutes, and please participate in the chanting. Thank you very much, Hare Krishna.
Because everyone to chant loudly, may let's stand up, chant, clap.
So you can stand up and stretch your legs a little bit and stay awake.
You can all come forward here and chant together. Come forward, please. You can even count if you want to feel like you can stand.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna